I've learned that the Earth is warming by 1.5 degrees Celsius within the next 2 decades. Now, this number may seem insignificant or tiny, but it has resulted in Australian wildfires and in East African droughts. Now, I take this time to tell you guys that while these disasters may seem like distant stories to you, it is only a matter of time before it affects all of us. And everyone can take action right now and come together as one human race to stop this issue. No matter what changes you make, no matter how small or simple, whether it just be spreading awareness about this issue, everything makes a difference. And that is why I'm standing here today and advocating for sustainability, not only because I'm passionate about this issue, but because it is also my responsibility. The Earth will no longer be green or pleasant. In fact, there might be no Earth at all. And so I implore you at this moment to take change, to take action, and to save our shared home. Thank you.
We're saying education is everything, and just making this topic more and more talked about, because the future generation is really the ones that will be seeing the impact of our actions now. So I think there's so many different ways we can implement it and to address climate change. I know even in the fashion industry, maybe some people may not think, how can fashion be more sustainable? How can that be more environmentally friendly? And I always tell people there's so many ways actually, because the fashion industry is one of the largest polluting industries in the whole entire world. And we all use fashion, we all buy clothing. So that industry itself can be pushed to be more sustainable. And that's something I'm so passionate about. When I create clothing as a fashion designer, I use recycled materials. I'll go to the thrift store and rip apart a new dress and make something new from it. Or I even sell t-shirts that are made from recycled plastic bottles. And these are very creative ways that are pushing the industry to be more sustainable. And it's also fun. I love to share this with children, and they get very excited about it. And like I said, most importantly, we are the voices for the future. So we need to lead by example. We need to show them, even in whatever career field and path that they are inspired by and want to go after, that they can be a voice for sustainability and change in that industry.
Cause is fundamental in order to win the Miss Universe crown. Not necessarily the kinds that we're kind of used to, the traditional ones where we go and do certain things and we do like photo ops, but rather commitments to a certain cause. And for me, it has been women's rights for a very long time. I work for an organization that provides campaigns, educational campaigns and political campaigns about women's rights in Latin America and the Caribbean. And for me, that's very important because I'm able to advocate for women who may not have a voice, who has a voice and is not being heard. So I love that I'm able to do that. And so of course you need a platform or a social cause to be able to win Miss Universe, because you're going to be an advocate, you're going to be an ambassador for a brand that stands for women all over. So you have to be able to understand that you have a mission. It's not only about glam and glitz and looking beautiful all the time. You have to make sure that you have a voice, that you know what you want, and that you have a message. So I think it's crucial that everyone has a social cause. And of course, it varies from person to person. But I think understanding that our purpose here in life, but also in the pageant, is to inspire others, transform lives. So I definitely think that it's very needed.
To make the world a better place, one of the things that I believe in is in education, and particularly in STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. STEM for me is about innovation. It promotes problem solving, critical thinking skills, and it's the future. So I love going to schools, talking about it, and especially advocating for minorities, for women in STEM. Ooh, I love anything and everything that has to do with science, especially space. I remember growing up, I would look up at the stars and I look up at the moon and I would even talk to the moon sometimes. But for me, that was just something magical. It was like, can you imagine something that is infinite, but that infinity is expanding? I would also watch Star Trek a lot. And in Star Trek, there was an engineer, her name was Uhura. In 1966, when Star Trek came out, she was the only female, one of the female lead characters that was African American. And to me, I was just looking at her and that was a representation, seeing someone that looked like me, that was a scientist, an engineer, that was traveling through space. I was like, okay, I want to do that.
I come before you tonight, not only as a representative of beauty, but as a voice for those who cannot live their own. For the women who wake up every day in the face of their oppressors, the villagers massacred for their differences, and all those whose lives have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. For 36 years, my people have witnessed devastation and massacres, all due to political and racial differences. For this, we're still paying a high price. But my question to you tonight is it worth it? Is all the blood that's been shed and the families torn apart worth it? We can't change the past. We can create the future we all dream of. Together, we have strength. If we all join together, we can rise from the ashes that this pandemic has left behind. Let's not let these words just echo in the void. Let's put them into action. And together, we will be victorious.
Each one of you have a story about mental health. For example, my advocacy to mental health comes a long way back, a few years ago, and it's really close to my heart because I had a personal experience where a family member committed suicide due to mental issues and no one was concerned about it. So that was something that really touched my heart, and I realized that we don't know what someone is going through or what they had to go home through. So it's so important that we are addressing this and stopping the stigma. Wow, let me add that all of you girls are so strong. I'm so proud of each one of us for sharing our stories. It's so special, you know, we all have many things to add, and something that I wanted to recall that it called a lot my attention was that some of you talked about the stigma and also that society has created. And that goes too with the hand of social media, which was the next question. And I think that mental health is the most neglected aspect in our personal well-being. And we live in a society that has stigmatized instead of normalizing the mental conditions. So I believe that by the fact that right now we are addressing this, you know, and I think that's universal, we are uniting here to break the stigma. So it's so special for us to talk about, and by all of you girls telling your experience, I'm telling mine, we can help so many people, and that really just fulfills my heart so much.